Sorry, from now on, I'm your opponent. I thought you had no intention of fighting me in the stream. If you can persuade the Herrscher of Sentience to stop, then I will not pursue either of you here. After all, I do not have anything that you need. Even the power of finality itself, you should not look to me for it. Kevin, it looks like you're misunderstanding something. Indeed, I don't have any intentions of fighting you. I'm just interested in your shadow. Shadow? I see. You mean the reflection of Chimera in the stream. Even if your holy blade can cut it down, it is simply visual and of no use. That's not definite. There was no doubt that up against the first Castellana, the one who held the power of finality, the girl of Galactica could not do more. Even Kevin himself, when facing finality, did not have a glorious battle record. His strongest strike 50,000 years ago only exchanged for an opportunity for a handful of people, let alone attain victory. The girl's action now seemed similar, but if there must be a comparison of how similar their situations were, it was impossible to ignore a difference. Their weapons. For example, when the Herrscher of Sentience recalled Kevin's strike, all she could think of were the flames that covered the sky. The key of destruction, judgment of Shamash. Even with his strength, the man still had to rely on a weapon when he made his final stand. But now, it's not the same for the girl. Many years ago, she had already obtained a weapon that was no less powerful than the divine key, a holy blade called Durandal. But why had she, in the face of a strong enemy, deliberately chosen to use the astral harness and not use her own killer skill? The question had also crossed the man's mind before, but he did not care. And when he finally knew the truth, it was too late. This really is unexpected, but reasonable. Clearly, for both parties, this battle had been at a stalemate for way too long. However, when it finally came down to this moment, according to a certain plan, The reinforcement truly responsible for temporarily ending this battle had finally joined the fray. To herself and to Kevin, the form she took now was familiar yet contemptible. When she first used this power, it made her betray herself and trampled all in sight. Kevin was the only witness to this. But thus, he knew better than anyone else just how unwilling she is to use this. Power known as active Honkai reaction. Hua, you don't always have to be like this, always putting everything on the line. The holy blade that should have appeared in the hands of his successor took on a different look, and instead of was held in the hand of this old friend in front of him. From the time the Herrscher of Sentience appeared to challenge him, their plan had been put into motion, and at this moment, they finally reached their goal. With a weapon that no one expected her to use, this girl dealt a blazing blow with the power of active Honkai reaction, cutting something away from Kevin. That thing in her hand turned into a torch. It burned fiercely and was full of vitality. I'm not putting everything on the line. Kevin, you once risked all of yourself to give the future half a day of respite. This time, I am merely performing the same duty. 50,000 years. When expressed as a number, its sheer length becomes difficult to grasp. Yet some said every story on this planet could be measured by 3 years. Whether someone could be your friend or lover for life, a moment could be remembered, a venture could succeed, everything could be tested in 3 years. "50,000 years was long enough for this life-changing moment to occur 16,000 times. And the two worlds separated by this time span would be entirely different. The people of that ancient age faced a strange world that the people of today could not understand. They followed strange rules in their daily life. One must above all pardon these unhappy souls who chose to go on a pilgrimage on foot, who walk along the shore, and who look without understanding. Upon the horror of the struggle, and the deep sorrow of the vanquished. There was no doubt that the girl was the winner now, but just like the people of this era, she felt nothing but fear in her heart. The reason was simple. They knew that all victories were temporary. Just like the girl's situation now. With extreme caution, the girl recalled the bitter battle earlier and started to take stock of her injuries. Before, she was surrounded by numerous monsters in this abandoned research facility, or at least, it seemed abandoned. And the remains next to her indicated the current progress of the battle. However, the girl could still recall the shadowy existence, whose appearance was difficult to make out, and the fear that she felt before lingered. No, the battle isn't over yet. The most powerful enemy is still around. It is terrifying. It must not be allowed to leave this place. Honkai must be annihilated. I can sense that it's almost at the exit. I must move quickly. Kevin. Was it his power that I had sensed just now? Hua, is that you? Honkai must be annihilated. Hua, it's me, Kevin. Honkai. I don't know why that side effect appeared again, but I'm sorry, Hua. With your current strength, this is the only way for me to stop you. Relax, Hua. Everything I do is to ensure that you'll never hurt yourself again. Don't worry, after this, Mei will fix everything. You're not a monster. Not now. Not in the future. To the girl, that past event ended this way. When she awoke again, she was submerged in a life support chamber. She could only feel the pain in her torso and did not even have the strength to open her eyes. She only learned the truth of what happened a long time after. In other words, no matter what happens, I cannot use that power again in the future. That's right. There's just one exception. And that's when all the other moths have been destroyed except for you. But once that happens, it won't mean much even if you do that. So, what is this all for? We aren't sure yet, to be honest. But the greatest possibility is that Swara, with its close resemblance to discipline, produced an unexpected change when it was used on you. Perhaps it was due to your obsession. Now, eliminating Honkai is no longer a choice for you, but an instinct that is practically impossible for you to ignore. But Mantis is an existence that was born from using the power of Honkai. And so, sometimes, when your control over yourself is weakened, you will be forced to let your instinct drive you and destroy everything related to Honkai, including your comrades and even yourself. If you force yourself, there is only one ending. After annihilating everything, you will see yourself as your greatest enemy and attack without mercy. The restorative property of Garuda will also allow you to recover from heavy injuries quickly. In other words, you will enter a cycle of perpetual hell. The girl could not retort. The memories of the past flooded back to her once again. She resorted to using active Honkai reaction for the first time, not so long ago. It did destroy a large number of enemies, but it also brought destruction that could not be tolerated. That's right. The research facility was not abandoned, but destroyed by her, its guardian. And the most powerful monster she had been chasing was herself. Because of this coincidental accident, nobody else had ever seen how she looked when she used active Honkai reaction. For the moth who heard of the incident, they were perhaps interested in checking the archives, but about that figure. Even as the strongest, Kevin also went through active Honkai reaction to tame that figure. All they learned was a name. Garuda. In the spiritual atom, the battle between the girls and the wielder of finality continued. And they had achieved victory temporarily. Just as in the previous brief encounter, the absence of Swara made it possible for this figure to appear in this world again. Hua. At this moment, the man still spoke from habit and called her by his familiar name. Even though he knew, as he uttered that name, that the person before him was completely different from who he was in the past. The Herrscher of Sentience, person of Equinox, they were all just distractions, aren't they? I don't know what the Herrscher of Sentience may think. He probably thought she wouldn't lose a head-on fight against you. But it is true that defeating you is not our goal. We don't have the ability to either. These words from her seemed ironic. After all, just earlier, she had used the power of active Honkai reaction and made the surrounding space an uncanny chaos with just one blow. Even when I use my full power, I can barely waver the power finality in you. I am not your intended target after all. As he said that, the man turned his gaze to the torchlight in Fuhua's hand. He saw through its appearance and knew its true form. It was an object that had always been with him. So you've tried several times to challenge the power of finality, even though through unimpressive means, just to get my shadow. No wonder the person of Equinox had no intention of using their full strength. Durandal, she lent the weapon she possessed to you. Even if it's the power of active Honkai reaction, it is still difficult to grasp space itself. Of course, the power that Garuda gave me cannot be discounted either. But if you want to slash through the intangible, sharp weapons like the Holy Blade are just as crucial. You call it the Holy Blade too, huh? Hearing a different name for that weapon reminded him of the time when he heard it was created. Before his successor ended drifting in the Sea of Quanta and learned to harness its power, it was another ambitious creation of the moth. In its complete form, it could even cut through space itself. It had deviated from the original goal of manipulating microscopic particles farther than it had from its name. The same could be said for many things after 50,000 years, and he was no exception. When I defended myself, thinking that the Ancora was aimed at me, you used it to cut a part of my shadow away. But what truly surprised me was that you seemed to understand its true nature. As the man said, that shadow behind him, surging with hundreds of beasts, was also seen by a certain agent of the World Serpent recently. But other than a cry of horror, she could not learn anything about the nature of that shadow. Indeed, this has never been my forte. At least I have not changed much in this regard. Compared to the Hua that you know, I'm just following the instructions of others. I was surprised when that shadow took on the form of a torchlight after breaking away from you. But in this era, geniuses exist too. With mere scraps of information, they could deduce your weakness and allowed me to understand the price you paid. Kevin, when you control the power of finality, it wasn't as easy as you made it seem, was it? In the beginning, they thought those shadows were manifestations of your dream after Project Stigma was completed. But I know that's impossible. Because of discipline, you lost the ability to dream tens of thousands of years ago. So, this speculation may sound ridiculous at first, but since you deny that you're the Herrscher of finality, it's become extremely likely. The situation you are in is no different from the consequence I incurred by forcefully using active Honkai reaction when I possessed Swara. You somehow obtain the power of finality, but if you're not a Herrscher, you, like any other normal person, cannot bear its power. In other words, the power is continuously destroying your physical body. And as an end product of Chimera, your physical body has the same Garuda genes as mine does. In fact, yours are even more potent than mine, due to the traits of Chimera. And so, your body, or should I say the low-class Honkai beasts you fused with, are being continuously destroyed while being continuously reborn. And the so-called shadow is the course of you, the usurper, and the last dream of those Honkai beasts. From what I can sense, it's also being pursued by the true authority of the cocoon of finality. In fact, right now, I must sustain active Honkai reaction, or I will be destroyed by that power in an instant. Kevin, you are not lying indeed, yet you're using ambiguous words to disguise your current condition. It's amazing that you can still maintain even the most basic of human sanity right now. It seems your earlier self-assessment was indeed too modest. So, is that the truth? This is insignificant in comparison to the price humans have paid. But this also suggests that you have other options aside from battling me. Yes, this pursuit from the cocoon is frightful, but if you look at it from another angle, it also allows us to reverse locate the cocoon of finality. And it offers me a chance to seize the power of finality from you. In this sense, the possibilities it brings are better than anything we anticipated before.